Because I don't drink hot that much.
Do you drink coffee? Or do
I
you
drink 1 cup of coffee at home in the morning, getting ready, and then sometime during the day. They can hear me.
What did he say? I used to drink coffee every morning, but I don't drink anymore. I don't drink tea either. I could start drinking it. More than 40 people.
Test, test, test. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. It is so nice to be with you on this Erev Shabbat. We have our adult choir here, as you could hear, opening up for us on our Erev Shabbat. And if you are not familiar, that's Kendra Muchnick right over there. I'm Rabbi Keller. Hi. And we are here. It is Erev Shabbat. And we are going to bring as much shalom as we can into our Shabbat this week. It seems last week at this time, we all celebrated the beginning of Shabbat, and we went to sleep on Friday night and woke up Shabbat morning to a different world, particularly for the Jewish community, but a different world, I think, for the world. And so we are here together. That's what we're going to do. We're going to be together. We're going to figure out how to get through this together. We're going to support one another. We're going to support Israel. I want to talk to you during our announcements about ways that we can particularly support Israel in a lot of different ways. And so I hope that we can be together and seek the shalom, seek the peace in our hearts, and seek some peace. I know I'll speak for myself. I have not found that yet this week. And I will tell you for myself that I range in emotions, and the current one is around the anger level and around the rage level. And so I also am looking forward to the Shabbat, and maybe God willing, a much better and much more peaceful Shabbat for all of us and for all of Am Yisrael, the entirety of the nation and people of Israel. We'll be doing that and bringing love and peace and song into our presence, and hopefully bring us up in a lot of ways, beginning with our adult choir, who already brought in for us this idea of being together, of Hine Matov, the idea of coming together as a community. We're going to be hearing from them a few times. And we're not only going to be able to celebrate Shabbat, but we're going to be able to celebrate Shabbat with Jack, who is becoming bar mitzvah tomorrow morning in this very space, in this very room. If you are here and going to be here tomorrow for Jack's bar mitzvah, you can just stay here if you want, because the two of us might just stay. It might be quicker. That's right. And so we'll be able to just stay here. It's nice. It's well air conditioned. There are comfortable seats. And so we are certainly going to try and move forward in this pain that we have by celebrating really important, wonderful, celebratory, happy moments. And like I said, one of those moments is Jack. And so we are going to light our Shabbat candle. So please find your prayer books. They should be right in your seat underneath you. Just reach under. We have had a bunch of different holidays in this space. So make sure that your book says Shabbat on the cover of it and not weekday and festival. We had some weekday and festival celebrations. If you have a very large, thick book called the Torah, excellent choice, but not one that's going to help you for services. So it's under your seat. The prayer book is under your seat. The Torah book is in front of you. The prayer book is under your seat. Make sure that that cover says Shabbat. Hello to our live stream wherever you may be as well. We also hope that you are finding ways to bring peace into your heart, into your mind, into your soul, and physically for yourself from this very difficult week. You can follow along with us with our prayer books in your virtual prayer books. Go to cbiboca.org. Top left corner, hit menu, and then scroll down a little bit, and there should be a button that says virtual prayer book, and you can pray along and chant along and be present with us for our entire service. We are going to invite now the Horowitz family to join us up here on the bima, not the bima, really just over here, to light our Shabbat candles and do Kiddush for us. Candles are on page 2. Okay, we're going to also include the grandparents. You should come too, and the uncle. Really, anyone whose last name starts with H. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, fine, okay. Anyone who knows these people.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Our candles are lit, and so now we are officially amidst Shabbat. We have brought and started our 25 hours together. And so to sweeten that time, we continue with the Kiddush, which can be found on page 5.
Okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho
L'chaim. We are going to continue in a moment with Zamru, which is our section of Psalms, which are supposed to bring us a moment of lifting us up, like I mentioned earlier, would be very, very good for us at this moment as we continue welcoming the Shabbat bride. We're on page 16. Page 16. We continue now with the poem written by Shlomo Halevi in the 16th century while he was reflecting on Shabbats in the city of Tzfat, all the way up north in Israel, in the Kabbalistic city. He was so moved that he wrote down these words of Lecha Dodi, which can be found on page 20. We'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to 9, we'll be standing and facing the door to welcome the Shabbat bride. Once again, page 20 and 21.
Chada chala, boi chala, lechatodi, mikrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat nekapela, lechatodi, mikrat kahala, b'nei Shabbat nekapela.
Please be seated. We continue now with Chatzi Kaddish, which can be found on page 26.
Yitkada veyitkada shemei rabba bilma divrach yirute v'yamlich malchute becha yichon uvyo meichon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala ba'agala uvizman kariv ve'imeru amen yehishmei rabba mevorach Le'olam lol mehamaya yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitpar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh ve'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudisha berichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran be'olma ve'imeru amen.
We continue now with the call to worship with Baruch Hu, where we ask the question if we're prepared, if we're awake. And particularly on the Shabbat, I think we need to be fully prepared for what's coming next for us and for Israel and for our Jewish community. And so we should take this deep breath in and be prepared and be awake as we continue with our call to worship on page 28. 28. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר בדברו מעריב ערבים, בחוכמה פותח שערים, ובבונה משנה עתים, מחליף את הזמנים, מסדר את הכוכבים, ומשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Let's continue on page 33, at the bottom, where we can alternate paragraphs. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Page 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed.
Please be seated. We continue Ve'ahavta on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem emet. We continue on page 39. 39 at the top. Let's read that together. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught. Before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, there's eternally Egypt, there's a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. Micha Mocha on page 40. We continue now with Let There Be Love, the connection to Hashkivenu, the idea that when we lie down at night, that God maybe shares our soul with us. Our souls go up to God, and so when we wake in the morning, we can be refreshed and, God willing, wake up to peace in our hearts and peace in our minds and peace in our world, we continue with Let There Be Love. Continue with the Amidah on page 46, and together we stand.
Adonai,
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Mekone HaKol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Abraham Bezrat Sarah, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, צומח נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. Baruch atah Adonai, mechaye hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, v'kadoshim b'chol yom yehalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We take time now for our own silent prayers, thoughts, and meditations, beginning here on page 52 through page 62. When you're finished, please be seated. This week, we start the Torah. The juxtaposition from last week of not just Shabbat, but the fact that last Friday night we were dancing with Torahs in here. We were celebrating Torah. We unrolled the entire Torah from that side of the room to the other. In fact, it was so large and so long, we had to angle it in different ways and scoot it all around and have people move over and scooch over and be able to hold it. And so we were able to hold the Torah together as a community. And so here we are at the beginning, all the way rolled to a fresh start. And if you're a student of Torah, which I would hope we really all are, because Torah is what guides us in general, looking at the words of Torah are often very, very enlightening. There's something really cool about the way that the Jewish people read Torah. We do the same exact Torah portions all the time, over and over again. In fact, every single bar and bat mitzvah I sit with, I tell the same sentence to, and I say, when we sit down and write their speech, I say the same thing to them. I say, this is the same exact Torah portion that we read last year. It's the same Torah portion, it's the same. Bereshit, next year, this time, same Hebrew, next year, same. Last year was the same, last year previously was the same. Next year's good. In 10 years, it's going to be the same exact thing over and over and over and over and over. There's a reason for that, and the rabbis say because when you come to it that following year, it's the same, but we're not. We come a little bit differently to look at this piece, at a piece of text. And so for me, this year, I found the beginning of the Torah to be very different. I read it differently than I have for years. And it says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Those are the first words of the Torah. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. And lots of translations here. Let's go with this one. When God began to create the heaven and earth. That's one translation. Or God created the heaven and the earth. Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. God made the heaven and the earth, and that sounds so lovely because that's how the Torah starts. But if you know and you love Israel, actually, you know that there is a name you can call Israel besides Eretz Israel, the land of Israel. Sometimes people just call it. What do people just call Israel sometimes? You call it Israel, but it's in Hebrew. There's a Hebrew term. Yerushalayim is the capital of Israel, good, but sometimes you just refer to it. It's almost slangy to call Israel Haaretz. People say Haaretz. People just say, and Haaretz just means the land. But you can say like, Ani olech la'aretz. If you speak to an Israeli and they're going to Israel, they often say, Ani olech la'aretz. Ani tas la'aretz. I'm flying to Israel. They don't even say Ani tas l'Israel. They don't say I'm flying to Israel. They say Ani tas la'aretz. I'm flying to the land. And so here it says, Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. And God began to create the heaven and maybe haaretz, Israel. If you look at how that says, what that says. V'haaretz, and the land, this is verse 2. V'haaretz haita tohu vavohu. And it says here, direct translation, and the earth was unformed and void. It was a mess. In fact, tohu vavohu doesn't exist in any. My professors will be very impressed with me. It's called the hapax legomenon. Hapax legomenon is it only occurs one time in all of text, and so it says tohu vavohu. It was God made the heaven and the earth, and the earth was. The best thing I can explain is, have you ever played with Play-Doh? 4 hands went up. Thank you. So the best thing about Play-Doh, right, is you get the Play-Doh set and you open up each of the colors, and it's so pretty, and I like the smell of Play-Doh. They're blue and the yellow and the green, and by the time you're done, it becomes that like one ball. You know, it's like all the colors are mixed together, and as hard as you try to take off the yellow from the blue and the thing, they can't, they're stuck together. Like once you make the ball of all the color, it's all stuck. That's tohu vavohu. You can't, and so for the first time, as I looked at this text, I saw Haaretz haita tohu vavohu, and Israel was like this ball for me. This mishmash, the colors all put together, where you can't tell where anything is, where it was just a mess. And never in my lifetime have I felt that. The tohu vavohu more than right now, this void and weirdness. And it literally says in the text, and haaretz, Israel, if you will, is in this mishmash, is in this craziness. And if you're like me, I would hope this last week has been all over the place for you. Probably, like me, first utter shock, disbelief, like I wasn't watching what I was really watching, and then disgust, and then anger, and then pain, and then loss. And then I told you at the beginning of the service, maybe anger and frustration and all kinds of different emotions. Social media didn't help. The news necessarily doesn't always help. It helps to push us into these different emotions. I have received, because the clergy has been talking to almost everyone, from the ittiest bittiest of our kids here at CBI who can barely even talk, all the way to adults, questions about how and why. Today alone, I tried to answer the question about where's God today? Where's God in all of this? Where's God? How does God let this happen, right? That's the question we always ask. This is not a conversation, by the way, about God. We can have that conversation some other time. But the way I look at God is that God doesn't do this. This is not, I wouldn't pray to a God that does this. God is going to hopefully be the one that brings us the hope and the courage and the strength to figure this all out. That's God for me. So we have to deal with all of that. And speaking of God, if you know the creation story, you know there are two, actually. The first creation story is the easier one. Why is it easier? Because it's just God talking. God says on the first day there's going to be light, on the second day, la 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 la, all the way through until we get to the sixth day where the animals are created and we're created. We're created last, of course, because sometimes it's a nice way to remember, if we think we're really great, the cockroaches were created before us. So in the order of how things go. So the next time we think like, ooh, we're really great. Yeah, we're not that great. So that's the first story. And by the way, it's only a small number of verses because it's God speaking. The second creation story, by the way, is the story of Adam and Eve. Humans, humanity. And so for humanity, from the second we learned about humanity until this moment, it's a mess. Because we have to figure things out. So when God creates the world, it's cleaner. So in the second story, by the way, God starts to create different components, and then God creates humans and realizes that the human, Adam, is by himself. And God notices that Adam doesn't like being by himself, so God decides to make the animals and make the trees and make this other stuff. And by the way, the Torah actually says that Adam gets to name everything. So when something ran by, he was like, ooh, giraffe. It became the giraffe. When something else ran by, he was like, ooh, the elephant. Okay, we're going to call it the elephant. Ooh, that pretty thing with the leaves on it. Oh, leaves. We're going to call those leaves, and we're going to call those bushes, and we're going to call those different things. And then and he gets to name everything. And so God gives humanity the power to be humanity. God says, I'm giving you the power to do this. But look at what humanity can do. God gives us the chance. But look at what humans are capable of. And some people, including me, by the way, as I watch the news and see what Hamas has been doing, I keep saying, they're not humans. How many people have been saying that? They're not humans. They're not humans. They're barbarians. They're animals. But you know what? They're humans. They're actually not barbarians. They're humans. Let's not give them the pass and call them because you know what? If a lion acted like a lion, we'd say like, okay, that's what lions do. When a bird does what a bird does, because they're animals, they do what they do. This is what animals do. Humans don't act like this. That's the problem. And so I want to say two more things to you. One is for me, my last words here, and I'm going to end my talk with a few paragraphs from Rabbi Ami Hirsch, who is the senior rabbi at Stephen S. Wise Synagogue in New York. And my last words are this. This week's Torah portion is called Bereshit. This is the first Torah portion. Next week's Torah portion, we learn about Noach and the ark. That's next week. So from 1 week to the next, we begin with Bereshit bara Elohim et hashamayim v'et haaretz. God creates the whole world. It's really lovely and really awesome. And I'll tell you, how does next week's Torah portion start? Next week's Torah portion starts with this. We meet Noach, first of all, and his family. Those are the first two verses. The third verse of next week's Torah portion says, Vatimale haaretz, which we know is now what? What's haaretz? The land or Israel. Literally from next week's Torah portion, in the third verse, Vatimale haaretz Hamas. Vatemale haaretz Hamas. And the land gets filled with Hamas, it says, right from the Torah. And the definition of Hamas, and why does Hamas call themselves that? Because it's chaos. It's chaos. It's disorder. It's everything that we're not. And that's why they call themselves Hamas. You can check my citation when you go home and check your Torah. In the book of Genesis, in chapter 6, in verse 11, Vatemale haaretz Hamas. And so we allow ourselves to go from the beginning of the creation, and in 1 week, allow haaretz, or the land, to be filled with Hamas. So it becomes our job now to fix this. All of our jobs to fix this. And so I'll end with the words of Rabbi Hirsch. We saw in vivid reality what pogroms actually look like. Mass mayhem and murder. Make no mistake, Israeli civilians were massacred because simply they were Jews. This is a crisis that concerns every one of us. It affects our children, it affects our future, it threatens every Jew worldwide and every decent person on the planet. The question for us is, what do we want to do? Do we want to stand or do we want to cower? Do we want to participate or do we want to slink away? To our non-Jewish friends, he went on to say, do you know what it does to a Jew to see once again, 80 years later, Jews massacred in their homes? Jews taken hostage, Jews dragged out onto the streets, mutilated corpses with delirious crowds of hollering with approval. And to those in academia, he went on to say, and leadership roles, educators and heads of schools or universities, whose message to students and parents is to maintain an environment of mutual respect and acceptance for all. Surely, he says, a worthy message, but cannot actually bring themselves to call out terrorism, name the terrorists and condemn their inhumane and atrocious brutality, fails the most important test of pedagogical, moral, and civic leadership, he says. Faculty members in middle schools, high schools, and universities, he says, help your students counter radicals. Alumni of American universities respond with vigor. Parents of high school and middle school students hold administrators accountable, hold teachers accountable, hold politicians accountable, hold journalists accountable. There is so much more at stake than even Israel. It is our entire Western value system is at stake, he says. Don't be passive. March, demonstrate, protest, stand up. They corrupt liberalism and distort liberal values is what we're allowing Hamas to do. And he concludes, after 2,000 years of persecuted, abandoned, decimated people, we finally rose up and said enough. And now we say enough. The days of murdering and massacring Jews with impunity is and are over. We will protect ourselves, we will defend our people, we will be masters of our own fate. And he ends, of course, and so do I, with the words, Am Israel Chai. Shabbat Shalom.
Ilan va'even shluya b'chaloma ha'ir asher badan yoshevet u'beliba choma Yerushalayim shel zahav v'shel nechoshet v'shel or halo lechol shiraich ani kidor Yerushalayim shel zahav את הר הבית ברי העתיקה ובמרות אשר בסלע ביעלילות רוחות ואין יורד אל ים המלח בדרך יריחו ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור הלכו שירייך אני כינור ירושלים של זהב ושל נחושת ושל אור הלכו שירייך אני
kийнor. We take all of our hopes and our thoughts and our love and our prayer, and we think of those in our community who are in need of healing, a physical, emotional, or spiritual healing. Going to share with you the list on our Mishaberach list. Right now, we wanted to also to ask you if there's a name on here that maybe is your family member and that you've shared with us. We know for a fact there are some names of people on here who are better and are feeling better. They're just still on our list. We want to make sure that we have the proper names on the list. So if for some reason you hear a name on the list and you say, "Wait a second, I put that name on there, and thank God they are much better," let us know so we can take them off of Mishaberach. If there is someone that you think we might need to add to Mishaberach, of course, we can do that as well, and you can let us know all of this sometime next week. If you call the office, we can be able to do that. But we're going to share with you our Mishaberach list on this Erev Shabbat. Annie Rosenfield, Asher Ben Karen Fay, Barbara Newmark, Bonnie Kleinman, Del Bernstein, David Field, Dr. Elise Karnick, Evelyn Greenfield, Gary Baker, Gary Bendel, Harav Avraham Ben Yehudit, Howard Rosenbluth, Ira Kafka, Itzachana Bela Bat Rivka, Janet Cohen, Diane Brownick, Stuart Benson, Cheryl Cutler, Joan Permit, Joel Carol Porwich, Elliot Porwich, Giovanni Shembrani, Randy Hirschhorn, Sarah Bat Rivka, Stephen Tenner, Julian Middleman, Marcy, Cheryl Masha Zelda, Shlomo Yaakov, Ben Dvora Fradel, Harriet Ginsburg, Joan Seidman, J.R. Morano, Lillian Bichelle, Lillian Rosenblatt, Mark Davis, Nomi Kirstein, Rachel Bat Shoshana, Rena Fields, Richard Rosenbluth, Richard Shankman, Diane Spiro, Robert Kay, Sherry Martin, Shana Call, Shirley Kafka, Sloan Kasten, Tova Bat Sarah Ariel Lev, Zahava Golda Bat Nechama, Lisa Bonner, Ryan Seidman, Stanley Geddes, Eric Kupferberg, Beth Spector, Savary Shambari, Roy Schwedelson, Elka Kayla, Miriam Sarah Bat Gittel Tova, Marsha Davis, Mira Bat Laser Valea, Brandon Lowe, Julius Rosenberg, Jerry Campbell, Robert Rosenberg, Tova Simcha Bat Josefa, Joshua Salad, Verda Wigworth, Yanka Elka Bat Leah, Helen Golden Vollmer, Talia Bat Shulamit, Ellen Field, David Field, Shmuela Bat Vega, Nelson Soto, Lenore Freeman, Renee Nurnberg, Ruth Rothenberg, Amanda Weinman, Bob Dobrin, Tori Bandel, Joe Samet, Christine Cesnat, Jordan Hirsch. To those names, we had any name that you'd like to add at this time.
correct one.
Phyllis Eisenberg. Barbara Katz, Barbara Seif. Lori Victor.
Mishbeach can be found on page 253. 253.
Bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say,
Some announcements for you on this Erev Shabbat. Of course, hello to all of you, our congregants, anyone who's visiting for the first time. We'd love to chat with you during Oneg. Of course, wonderful special thanks to our adult choir who have brought beautiful music into our hearts and minds, and extremely necessary on this Shabbat. So thank you to all of you. Under the direction of the very famous and very wonderful,
talented.
Muchnick.
He said handsome?
David Muchnick. Usually the announcements are typed up for us by Joanna Horowitz, and then usually in the typing up that she does, she wishes a mazel tov to the bar mitzvah family. This is all of the same person. So so thank you for writing in for the announcements. A mazel tov for the Horowitz family on the bar mitzvah for Jack, which happens to be your family. So thank you for doing that. And so I wanted to make sure that I read the announcements that you wrote for us. So thank you for this special moment right now for you and for your awesome family. So, all right, good. On the 18th, we are having a community-wide networking event at 5:30. Don't miss it. Cocktails and connections. We had a great turnout the last month. We had like 50 people at least. Something came out. So come and join us. You really can't miss out on talking to nice people, networking, free food and booze. So it really, and it's air conditioned, and you're in the synagogue. Like, you can't really miss out on all those things. On the 20th, which is next Shabbat, is a Torah portion of Noach. And so we are having a special program that now has, I believe, 7 different names. But I think, so it's called Noah's Bark, or Arks and Barks, or Shabark Shalom, or Bark. I don't know what we're calling it. It's the first one. Thank you.
If you bring your dogs, we'll teach them to say the Baruch.
Exactly. The Baruch. Did you say the Baruch? Is that what you said? Oh, it's good. It's not just for dogs. So it is a pet-friendly Shabbat. It's not going to be in the sanctuary. It is going to be outside, and it's going to be a lovely, fun, easygoing service. So we'd love to have you, and it's totally pet-friendly. So bring all of your pets. If you have, I don't know, whatever, monkeys or anything that you got, exotic pets, like a llama or an emu, Please bring them.
That would be cruel.
That would be, exactly. I was making a reference to a song, but only Cantor Muchnick got it. So, did you get it as well? Yeah. Oh, thank you.
That's good.
Yeah.
You can come back.
Kodesh family got it. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you very much. And then of course, please help to fill up our bins for after-school programs and our little free pantry. This is the newest and maybe the most critical announcement, and that is we are doing a community Israel drive Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We have found a way to transport items to Israel physically on El Al. And so I have a flyer for you that is sitting right here. I have about 50 of them, so I'll have like one per family or one per couple. Please go crazy. Buy as many things as you're comfortable. Items like they are looking for those like Camelback hydration packs. Or some version of them. They're looking for two types of tactical gear, special knee pads and special gloves, toiletries, feminine products, new clothing for babies, kids, and adults, over-the-counter meds and things like Neosporin and gauze and Band-Aids, toys, and particularly socks and blankets. So these are going to be all made available to you. I have the stack here, so I'm going to make sure that everyone has one. And we are going to be doing this drive. It explains to you how to do it. It's going to be from 7:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the circle. It's all drop-off. It's all arranged mostly by our parent organization through our preschool. And we have someone who's literally going to pick up our stuff, who I spoke to today, at Ben Gurion Airport and put it onto a truck and distribute it, because he has 200 trucks, and he's going to be distributing all of those things directly to Israelis who need it and to the soldiers who need it directly. So please, 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 please go overboard on this for us so that we can give the proper things and products to our brothers and sisters in Israel. Again, it's going to be on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 7:30 to 3. It's all drop-off. There's also a QR code on here if you want to donate money directly to an emergency relief fund. That 100% of those proceeds go directly to Israel, and that money goes directly to help all of the residents of Israel and to the military. So 2 ways to give, and it's directly to Israel, and we're going to have multiple flights also. So we're going to do this first drive for the next couple of days, but we're also going to have opportunities to continue to do so. So I'm going to make sure that everyone has one of these, and please go overboard on your sharing. We're going to begin to conclude our service. Aleinu can be found on page 282, and together we stand.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגאר עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו echad.
Prior to reciting Mourner's Kaddish, it's with sad news that we share with you the passing of Samuel Ron, longtime member and Holocaust survivor of Congregation B'nai Israel. Funeral will be on Sunday, but wanted to mention his name to everyone prior to us reciting Kaddish this evening. In the period of Shiva, we do think of Mel Parker, and in the period of Shloshim, the immediate 30-day mourning period, we think of Elaine Solomon, Morris Bluestein, Dr. David James Cohen, Lois Coleman, and Nan Bowles. And our yahrzeits that occur for us this week: Ira Feuderman, Joseph Malmuth, Alfred Tools, Grace Alter, Jerome Turk, Elaine Howard, Lee Stern, Alice Weinstein, Charlotte Gold, Kenneth Glatt, Jacob Rappaport, Hannah Faig, Samuel Ronan, Sally Mellon, David Kaplan, Fern Land, Beatrice Baker, Sophia Wiener, Nathan Butwin, Shirley Eberstein, Samuel Berger, Andrew Nick, Stephen Singer. To those names, we had any name that you'd like to add at this time. Kadisha Tom 294. Yitgadal v'kadash me'raba ve'alma divrach cherutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chaye echon v'yom echon v'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael b'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach le'olam ulmei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei l'kudesha b'rechu לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. Before we conclude our service, we're going to just do a little motzi. And if you are under the age of bar and bat mitzvah, and you'd like to join us up here for motzi, we'd love to have you. If you're under the age of bar and bat mitzvah, and you'd like to come up here and join us for motzi, we would love that. Under the age of bar and bat mitzvah, I know there are a bunch of you here, and I see you, that are under the age of bar and bat mitzvah. I'm looking at the two of you right now, over there, Rudikovs. I'm looking at you. I see you. Come on over if you're under the age of bar and bat mitzvah. Come and join us for a little motzi. You also get challah, so that's cool. That's kind of nice. You don't have to be that far away. You can come a little closer. All right. It's the blessing over the plastic. All right, here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Please remain standing since we're going to conclude, along with our fabulous choir, a combination of Hatikva, Israel's national anthem, and Am Yisrael Chai.
God
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Am Yisrael Chai.
Shabbat shalom,
Shabbat
everyone.
shalom.